And welcome into On the Mark, went on the mic here on the Recliner Media Network, reclinermedia.com on this Sunday afternoon. Glad to be with you. I know we missed last week, so we got a lot to catch up on. We'll start with what are you watching? A lot of stuff that it's funny how after the Super Bowl, there seems to be a lot more that we're watching, or at least I'm watching. These days, obviously, we'll get into the Olympics, a big game that happened earlier today. Unrivaled Basketball is heating up. March Madness is on the horizon, so a lot to get into. Spring training started in baseball, which means this snot-filled, crappy wasteland of February is almost over, and so we have that to look forward to as well. Mark, how the heck are you?
I'm good. Still flying high off of that big win this morning. Like you said, we'll get into that a little bit later, but doing good. Glad to be back at it with you. Hope you had a good weekend.
Yeah, always good to relax on weekends and stuff like that. A lot of sports to get into as well. So once again, go to Facebook, X, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music to find us there. Go to our home base, reclinermedia.com, to catch up on all of the stuff as well. A lot to get into there, as well as we'll have more stuff for you to dive into there as we wrap up 2026 here. And so go to our home base, once again, reclinermedia.com. This and many pods on the network brought to you by Peaks Sports Cards, as well as, we kick things off with what are you watching? And, well, let's just, I guess, dive right into the big one, Mark, as really quickly, if you are trying to find us on X, I guess there is streaming problems on X. It says we're live, but the video is not showing up, but it is somehow recording on X, but you'll be able to watch it later, apparently, according to technology. So there you go. But this again, we just kind of talked about it. I get it. It's like whatever, 15 time zones away, Mark. But 7 o'clock, 6 for you is a early wake up call to Olympic hockey, but probably worth it, as once again the U.S. knocks off Canada this morning to capture gold in the Olympics. Maybe I'm not just paying attention, Mark, or didn't realize it, but first gold medal for the U.S. in hockey since the 1980 Miracle on Ice. I guess I didn't realize it had been that long.
Yeah, and the anniversary today. So, and I remember back in 2002 as a kid when the Canadians completely wrecked the United States hockey team. It was like 5-2 or something like that. And then obviously we had a decent run in 2010. But yeah, breath of fresh air. Congrats to the boys getting it done, slaying the monster, if you will. And pretty much Freebird's going to be on loop the next 24 for sure.
Yeah, once again, the United States gets it done 2-1 in overtime. A lot of people, on both sides, complaining all over social media that 3-on-3 hockey should not determine a championship nor a gold medal. Do you agree with this? I mean, 3-on-3 hockey, it seems cool in the NHL when you get down to overtime and then you go to a shootout. They actually took out the shootout in the Olympics, so we would not have seen a shootout if it went down to. We would just keep going and going and going. Sudden death hockey. In the Olympics, they did take out the shootout, but they did adopt this 3-on-3 play in overtime. And again, maybe cool in, on a Wednesday NHL game in the middle of February, but not really cool, I guess. Want to get your take on an Olympic gold medal game in the middle of February. Do you agree with these people saying 3-on-3 hockey should not determine not only a championship, but a gold medal?
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I get it. They're trying to create, bigger plays, more space on the ice, with less bodies out there. But you got to treat that like a Stanley Cup playoff, 5-on-5, and kind of let the boys handle it from there. Is how I feel. Obviously, when it went in, the United States favor today, and I love that. But as I said, I think it's already, you're on the biggest stage you can be. There's no reason, in my opinion, to try and make it any flashier or any bigger than it already is. Put five on five out there and let them duke it out. That's what I say.
Yeah. So once again, the U.S. gets it done in overtime. Quinn Hughes, the golden goal, as they call it, for the U.S. I did like the storylines for the U.S. Two sets of brothers on the U.S. team. You have the Canucks, Matthew and Brady, and then you have the Hughes Quinn. Quinn, of course, gets the game winner. Also took a high stick to the face earlier in that game, and you could see he was missing a chitlick there. I mean, he's doing a post game interview with blood all over his face. If that's not the stamp of hockey and like Olympic hockey and maybe American hockey or whatever you want to call it, I don't know what is. But just just to, again, if that's like basketball or even baseball, Mark, I hate to say it, but that dude's sidelined for a couple weeks.
Yeah. Well's worth it though, right? I mean, walking away with the gold, that's what it's all about. And yeah, no, I absolutely love the storylines, like you just said, behind especially for the, obviously I'm biased, so especially for the Americans, but um, the Canadians, I think it was something special watching. I mean, as many great Canadian-born players as there have been, and the run that they kind of were on, dominating the hockey world. So, like, in some ways, I feel that they had way more pressure than the United States, being that they have a lot more to defend. Um, and that might shift now, right? I mean, the United States hockey team was stacked, fantastic roster. And then another piece that I loved was the tribute to Johnny Gaudreau and his family. Rest in peace. Um, Gone way too soon, taken by a drunk driver a few years ago. But I thought that was cool, getting his jersey out there, getting his kids to take pictures with his jersey and the gold medals and the rest of the guys. Just, in my opinion, just a fantastic Olympics for men and women, right? I mean, we swept Canada on both sides there. Females also getting it done 2-1 in overtime fashion. So yeah, love it. The hype was worth it. Glad I woke up. Glad I stayed up and watched it.
Yeah. So yeah, once again, Jack Hughes, the game winner against Sweden in the semifinals, and then his brother Quinn Hughes, the game winner in the gold medal game in overtime. So that storyline, once again, cool to see two sets of brothers on the same ice, and current Avalanche player Brock Nelson, the third generation of his family to win a gold medal. Kind of crazy. His great grandfather did it in 1960, Mark. So now there has been an Olympic gold medal winner in each of these gold medal teams. U.S., by the way, only has 3 gold medals in hockey: 1960, 1980, and now 2026. And Brock Nelson's family has won one in each of those games. Again, his great-grandfather, 1960. His great-uncle was on the Miracle on Ice team, and now Brock Nelson wins it in 2026. Speaking of medals, the Canadians did not look happy receiving their silver medal. I again love a good. The handshakes in hockey, Mark, are probably the best thing ever to bring to sports,
Agreed.
whether it's in the Stanley Cup playoffs, the Olympics, or whatever it is, especially because, you're on different countries, but you're on the same team in the NHL. I love to see how those guys interact in the handshake line. You always see hugs and stuff like that. Yeah, when Canada was receiving their silver medals, they were pissed, and they have every right to be. Especially, again, current Avalanche Nathan MacKinnon had a chance to maybe put a seal on the game if he makes that wide open net. I mean, it's Nathan MacKinnon, Mark. He makes that 9 times out of 10, and it just maybe hit off his stick wrong, hit the side of the net, and you go on. Devon Taves, another current Av. There's so many Avalanche in the Olympics, but Devon Taves, just literally dead plant in the crease, gets a nice puck off his stick, And like the announcer said in the game, Mark, maybe if he left that down on the ice, it goes in. He did elevate it a little bit, and Connor Hellebuck was able to get a stick on it and deflect it away. So a couple current Avs had a chance to maybe put that game away and were unable to. But yeah, you could see I wouldn't say disgrace, because you're still receiving a silver medal in the Olympics. I mean, I know you want to go for gold, but I mean, anyone who's anyone takes a silver medal. But when you're, I guess when you're Canada in the Olympics and the gold medal game for hockey, you're going to be pissed about a silver medal.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, kind of touching on the handshakes and everything else, like you said, one of the greatest traditions in all sports, and kind of watching those interactions. I'm like you. I love seeing those, especially because of all the teammates. Yeah, there was a few of them too that kind of just looked stunned, like literally stunned when they were receiving that silver medal. And like you said, a hell of a feat to be able to get yourself into the position to win, even bronze in the Olympics, to be able to take that home and things like that. But a silver medal and and above is an astonishing accomplishment. And like you said, they look pissed, and I love that. I love that sting for them. I love seeing that. And it's crazy because when McKinnon missed that and hit the side of the cage there, I was like, I remember I looked at my wife. I said, "It's meant to be. It's the United States time." Because, like you said, he doesn't miss those. He just does not miss those. And Hellebuck just protecting the net today as if it was made of gold. Just one hell of a job. 41 saves on the day. And a couple of game-saving saves. Like you said, the one with Devon Taves, in the crease there. There was a couple others where, McDavid came flying in on the rush on a breakaway. He stopped that. Just fantastic. The Americans showed today was fantastic. So yeah, I love it. I absolutely. I'm a sucker for those kind of storylines, and I always find it fascinating being the United States being where they're at just in the world, economically, socially, everything like that, how they could still find themselves to be underdogs in certain situations. It's kind of just that American attitude to come back and just absolutely be in a dogfight and just fantastic showing. So yeah, one of my favorites for sure. Instant classic.
Yeah, us here in Denver, Colorado, we just hope McKinnon turns that anger into a Stanley Cup championship now for the Colorado Avalanche, because I don't even think he said thank you to the person who put the medal on his neck. I'm sure he ripped up that little stuffed animal they all got, whatever that thing is. I mean, they were all pissed. The only one I don't feel sorry for in Canada is Connor McNo-Rings. I'm glad that they gave him the captaincy just to fail. I do feel bad for some of the Avs players, but yeah, once again, the USA strikes gold in the gold medal game this morning, and as you mentioned, the women's won gold over Canada a couple of days ago. As we look at the medal count in the Olympics as a whole, Mark, forgot to mention this. I guess congrats to Finland as well, as they won bronze the other day. We forgot about that. I was waiting because they had that big carpet rolled out. I was kind of waiting for them to come out. I guess they just did their own kind of medal ceremony the other day. I didn't see that game, so I have no idea.
Me either. Yeah, me either. I was shocked.
They're like, screw it, we're going home.
I was just gonna say that. I think they said bronze. It's good enough to see our flag up there. We'll watch it at home.
Yeah. So Finland wins bronze in the men's hockey tournament in the Olympics. So yeah, I was waiting for them to come out because they had enough carpet rolled out, but they just said screw it. All right, Norway is actually in first place when it comes to medal count and gold medals. Mark, how about that? Norway, 41 total medals right now in the Winter Olympics. 18 of those our gold. The US of A is in second place with 33 overall medals. 12 are gold, 12 are silver, 9 are bronze. Netherlands, Italy, and Germany round out the top 5. Can you guess how many medals poor little Canada has right now?
I'm going to take a wild stab in the dark, and I'm going to say 28.
Close. They have 21. They sit in 11th place right now. 5 gold, 7 silver, one of those being hockey, and then 9 bronze. So our neighbors to the north sit in 11th place right now in the gold, or excuse me, in the overall medal count. So there you go. Once again, Team USA wins gold. Mark, what else is on your watching docket?
You know, I kind of want to touch on this, the curling event in the Olympics. Did you see the shenanigans that the Canadian men's curling team was doing with the old finger tush push, if you will?
Honestly, I didn't see it, but I heard about it.
Yeah, so I dove in, did some homework, and apparently on the stone itself, you're not allowed to touch any part of it. And you're only allowed to obviously hold the handle. And I love curling. I don't know why, but for like the last 3 or 4 Winter Olympics, I've been watching curling and I don't understand it. Don't ask me to explain it. I don't know how the points work, but I know when they say this one's for the win, I know that's when we pay really close attention. But yeah, I thought it was interesting the controversy over that of the Canadian. I forget his name now, but he would push last second with his finger as the stone made its way down, and then he got into an argument with another team, and they were cursing at each other back and forth, and he got heated up. But yeah, so I guess apparently he did break some rules there, but it didn't matter because they won the gold. So that was interesting to watch.
That sounds interesting. I did watch Kylie Kelsey attempt to play curling. That was interesting also.
I missed that.
Yeah, she apparently has a big behind that she also brought to her podcast and talked about that as well. But yeah, I missed the Canadian curling controversy, if you will.
Yeah, I had to throw that in there just because, like I said, a lot of there was a lot of emotions out there. People got pretty emotional about it, and
So
wanted to touch base on it.
So are we blaming Canada for cheating?
That's what the word is out there, that it was a cheap shot move. And like I said, don't ask me to explain this sport. I have no idea. But yeah, they are blaming Canada. So might as well join the bandwagon and say shame on you, I guess.
Oh, there you go. That's they're trying to win. They're trying. If you're not cheating, you're not trying, as the old adage is.
Amen.
There you go. On my docket list, obviously, keep it going this here, a couple weeks, couple months, Unrivaled Basketball, as the playoffs begin at the end of this week. February 28th is when the playoffs will begin. 3 teams are into the playoffs right now: Phantom, Laces, and the Mist, as we await a couple games coming up this weekend. Breeze, Rose, Vinyl, Hive, Lunar Owls on the outside looking in. One more team will sneak in to the playoffs. Don't know if you saw the one-on-one tournament. Absolutely fantastic games in the one-on-one. Chelsea Gray from the Las Vegas Aces wins the entire one-on-one tournament as she knocks out Alicia Gray from the Atlanta Dream. My girl AB, Aaliyah Boston from the Indiana Fever, made it to the Final Four, but she eventually got knocked out by Alicia Gray. It's interesting to watch like one-on-one basketball, Mark, in this fashion, because it's just one-on-one. You can't throw it into the post, so you're always wondering, like, how do guards, go? Do they just shoot because they're quicker and faster than post players? What do post players just play bully ball in the lane? Aaliyah Boston has, I want to say, almost a foot on Alicia Gray, and she hit a couple 3-pointers in the one-on-one tournament, and then just bullied her way into the post. But Alicia Gray eventually, with the game-winning shot, over Aaliyah Boston to get her in, and Chelsea Gray, who might be the MVP of this whole season in this unrivaled season, just playing fantastic, averaging almost 30 a game for the Laces. So she once again walks away with the one-on-one tournament, and the prize money she wins, $20,000 she gets, which is probably more than her WNBA salary, which is super sad. She wins that just by winning the one-on-one tournament. So that's interesting. There is a couple games tonight if you're interested. The Phantom, who are in first place, will take on the Hive. Hive is one of those new teams, a lot of young players. The Laces and the Rose won the championship last year. Excuse me, that's who Chelsea Gray plays for. But those two games will be happening tonight. So it is cool basketball to watch.
Yeah, that's one I've been catching the highlights, and I wish I had more time to be able to actually watch it live. But yeah, I loved watching some of the highlights of that one-on-one tournament, and like you said, just the different styles and strategies that different players, different heights, different speeds have to come up with to make some of those plays. So yeah, been fun. I really like that.
There you go. Anything else on your watching docket?
Some college basketball on the men's side. Found this interesting. U of A was killing it there for a little while and dropping two big ones. One to Kansas and the other one to Texas Tech, which I think at the time was ranked like 17 or 18. So watching those rankings bounce around has been fun, and my boys, SDSU, are flirting with that bubble. They're on the bubble watch, and they just can't get out of their own way, losing to, I think they lost to Colorado last night. But yeah, like you said, March Madness getting ready to heat up, and this is where things start getting fun for college basketball. So definitely on my list.
Yeah, my ladies Iowa Hawkeyes got a huge upset today as they are ranked 13. They take down number 6 Michigan 62-44. This is a Michigan team, Mark, that averages almost 70 points a game. Iowa holds them to only 44 points on senior day. By the way, Iowa has 4 seniors. Only 2 are able to play. As we saw Taylor McCabe tear her ACL a couple weeks ago, so she has been out. So Kylie Feuerbach and Hannah Stolke were in this game. They got to win, of course, at home. Carver Hawkeyes, such a tough place to play if you're a visiting team. Iowa now only 3 losses in the Big Ten. UCLA won the Big Ten earlier today as well. A Bruins team that I like. So it's going to be a fun Big Ten tournament. It's going to be a fun NCAA tournament also on the women's side. So Iowa, with that win today, Mark, will capture a home game in the opening round of the NCAA tournament. Should put them around a 3 or 4 seed now in the NCAA tournament, which is pretty cool considering post the Caitlin Clark era in Iowa. A lot of people were saying they might not be as good. They went to 2 Final Fours during Caitlin's run. They made it. 3 rounds last year in Jan Jensen's first year as a head coach and the first year without Caitlin Clark last year. Now entering the second season post everything, Lisa Bluter's retirement as head coach, and they find themselves ranked 13. They should move up a couple of spots here, Mark, after taking down number 6 Michigan. We'll see how the AP vote goes, but big win today for the Lady Hawkeyes as well.
Love it. Like I said, this is one of my favorite times of year, especially with March Madness and the craziness that it brings, especially gearing up for the tournament. So love all that.
Yeah. Anything you're not watching?
I was sitting here all day trying to think of stuff that I'm not watching, and there isn't anything on my list.
Well, I will say this. I didn't watch the garbage trash that is the NBA All-Star game. I know they tried to do a ripoff or a spinoff of the Four Nations. Hockey just does it right, Mark. They just get it right They were like, all our all-star game is getting kind of diminished. We're kind of, we seem to be like, the fourth wheel, if you will, when it comes to the four major sports, especially in the United States. So let's just do like a four nations face off. And Mark, that was absolutely outstanding last year. Of course, Canada won that, so they do have something to look back on. But
Yeah.
Baseball does it right with the World Baseball Classic. They should almost do that instead of their All Star. Hockey and baseball probably have now the best All Star games. I get it. I equivalate the home run derby to like the slam dunk contest. Slam dunk contest used to be so cool, and now it is just a bunch of lazy turds. I mean, it's really not their fault because all the dunks have been done. So, like, what are you supposed to do? And I always find this funny because everyone loves chicks dig the long ball, Mark, and everyone just loves watching the home run derby. There's literally only one way to hit a home run, but it's the best thing in all-star break activities amongst the four major sports, and there's literally only one way to do it. You hit the ball into the seats. Like you would think the slam dunk contest, like the 3-point contest, has become better than the slam dunk contest. Like that's how things have shifted in these all-star games. But hockey's done it right now. If they keep this four nations going, we're not going to have an all-star break this week or this year, obviously, because of the Olympic break. So teams get almost a month off pretty much, as games will resume this week in the NHL. So basketball, the NBA tried to do this last week, a week and a half ago, and get two USA teams and a world team. Somehow the world team just didn't maybe seem like they cared or something. One of the US team that did win, Mark, were actually like playing, like they were actually trying, and they were able to get it done. Somehow Damian Lillard just becomes uninjured and wins a 3-point contest for like 3 years out of 4 now. So I don't know, Mark. I mean, are they on the right track doing this USA versus world? I don't know. I don't know what they can do to make it better. Hockey figured it out. The Four Nations was awesome. Baseball's All-Star game is still probably the best game itself, because, again, you kind of have to play defense. You kind of have to hit the ball. I mean, basketball, you don't have to play defense. Hockey, the Pro Bowl, I don't even consider it an All-Star game or an All-Star game anymore. I mean, that was garbage as well. I mean, so what can basketball, and if you want to throw football in there as well, what can these sports do to make this watchable?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. NBA is just awful just completely awful at any All-Star festivities. I used to enjoy, like watching, the East and the West play. I thought that was cool. I'm thinking, but like you said, then you got guys that are so lazy and they're not going to put forth any effort to make the game interesting. And I honestly, I think they're grasping at straws with that world team, the USA. It doesn't compute. They're just trying to do. They're literally mimicking hockey. That's all that was, in my opinion. And I get it. They got to try and figure something out. They got to try and make something work. But I think it just goes back to load management that has taken over the game of basketball, where players aren't forced to play at their best every night. Like you said, in baseball, it is what it is. Either you're hitting or you're catching it, or you're playing defense, pitching and things like that. There is no escape from that. In hockey, when they force them to fight for something that they're proud of, being their country and their colors, there's no longer taking those plays off because now you're playing for something important. Obviously the World Baseball Classic, same thing. Once you don your country's colors, it's a whole new aspect and attitude that, frankly, I think basketball has lost in the last 20 years. Just there's no tenacity, there's no aggressive play. It's I'm going to do as little as I can to get as far as I can.
Which is funny because basketball, honestly, probably has the most diversity in almost all, but I think baseball is still atop that. But I mean, basketball has a super amount of diversity in it. So why they didn't try kind of this format years ago? It could have saved this All Star break years ago if they would have tried this. Um, so I don't know. If they try. I don't know what they can do. They tried to involve countries and do a world team and it just seemed to miss. So I don't know what they can do. I don't know if you have to play for a country to play hard. I mean, we saw in the Olympics last year. We saw Jokic. Absolutely do. I mean, he probably, again. People say he doesn't care. He does care about the game of basketball. But you throw that his country's colors on him and jersey on him. I mean, he is going all out. Same with the U.S. guys. Same with France, who we saw in the Olympics last year. So I don't know. Maybe they do have to do a country type thing for these guys to play hard.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I think that's the only way because, like I said, especially as much as they're, and I hate to use the word baby, but that load management is, in my opinion, has really killed basketball. And guys, it's only 82 games and they play, once or twice a week. And you got guys talking about, they can only play so many minutes and this and that. And like I said, it's killed the game of basketball. And basketball being arguably one of the more difficult sports to play, going up and down and, 120 to 122 kind of games. And it's just killed it. And like you said, I think they're going to have to switch, force them to care.
Yeah, which is probably a difficult task. Whoever's in charge of the All Star break, and I would assume that's a commissioner. But yeah, there's got to be something done for the All Star games to kind of get back into the spotlight again. Hockey figured it out with this Four Nations. If they keep that going, that's going to be the belle of the ball. Baseball, I would say they do it right, but they didn't really change anything because, again, you kind of have to play defense. You kind of have to hit the ball. There is no Olay stuff going on. That would kind of be the only way that you don't play defense is just letting guys get base hits, I guess, if it's hit right at you. But you don't see that. That's the thing. Yeah. And then the stuff, kind of the activities you put around it. Like I mentioned, the 3-point contest has become better than the slam dunk contest. Hockey, they do the skills competition. They do the I think they inserted like a speed skate around it. And they kind of dissolved all that and did this Four Nations and hit the nail on the head. Pro Bowl, again, an absolute joke. When I always laughed when it was like, maybe not in the mid 90s mark, but when they say 6-time Pro Bowler, like, should these guys be like proud to be a 6-time Pro Bowler? Because
it's not the same.
I think all pros are more prestigious now than Pro Bowls. But again, yeah, the Pro Bowl is an absolute joke. I don't know what you can do to fix it. So this year they didn't even care. They're like, F it. Not only is it flag football, but we're putting it like on a Tuesday afternoon. Screw it. Nobody's watching anyway. So we're just going to do that. But yeah. So, and then when it was cool, when it was in Hawaii and then, you wore the AFC or the NFC jerseys and people played hard. And, the people who got hurt in these games, Mark, just ruined it for everybody.
Yeah. But, I really think if they can bring that old style back, like when it was in Hawaii, wait till after the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Wait till after the Super Bowl in the middle of the offseason.
I get it. After the Super Bowl, you're probably done watching football. It's over or something like that. But if it's and then they moved it in the week before the Super Bowl, so people are going to watch because they need their football on a Sunday. And it seemed like when it was after the Super Bowl, Mark, guys were hitting because they had a whole off season to recover if something happened.
Yeah, and that's what I think they should do. Just put it after the Super Bowl and kind of do what baseball used to do, winner gets home field advantage kind of thing, and obviously plus the money reward that they get. But I think if they did that, or if they're that worried about it, do it a few weeks before mini camps and OTAs and things like that, and gear the people up ready for football.
Yeah. So that's where we stand right now. I want to ask you this, Mark. Kind of thinking about it, watching the Olympics, and give me your top three like sports destinations. Like if you had to pick three sporting events like on your bucket list that you would want to go to, what would they be?
Oof. Well, I mean, is it bad Olympics aren't even going to make my top five?
Well, I'll throw this. I'll put this out of your way. I am going to try my hardest to go to the summer 28 Olympics in LA. I think that would be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. No, and I think it'd be cool, but it's like I would rather see a few other things first. Like me personally, obviously, a World Series, a Game 7 World Series, I think would be fun. I think that would probably be my number one. My number two would
Does your
be
team have to be
going
in it
to,
though?
huh?
Does your team have to be in it, or you just go into any old World Series game?
No, my team would definitely have to be in
Okay,
it, for sure, for sure. Yeah, I can't because if it's any other old team, I might as well pop it on the TV and save money on beer.
right.
But number two for me would definitely going to Spain to watch my boys Barcelona in soccer at Camp Nou. I think that would be a fantastic experience, and then finally a World Cup final. So soccer and baseball for me, I think would be phenomenal to watch. Those are my top three.
Yeah, I think. Well, like I mentioned, I think going to an Olympic Games would be pretty awesome. Preferably, probably a basketball game. Um, just throwing that out there. Honestly, a World Series baseball, or the WBC, the World Baseball Classic. I think that would be one of those games would be pretty fun to go to. Maybe not an early preliminary game or anything like that, but maybe one. I mean, do they? Is this bad? Do they call it gold medal? What do they win when they win
They,
the?
I think it's just a trophy, right? And
Yeah, I think because the trophy's part of the logo, but that would be cool to go to
yeah,
a World Baseball Classic game, and then honestly, any other, if my team's in the Super Bowl, it would be awesome to go to a Super Bowl, like you mentioned, a World Series game, something like that. I would say basketball, but I did go to every home game when the Nuggets won a couple years ago. Have not Avs have 3 Stanley Cups. Mark have not been to a Stanley Cup game. That would be awesome. So
that would be phenomenal.
yeah, playoff hockey
Yeah,
is. I mean, you kind of correlate playoff hockey to the Olympics. I mean, there's nothing like Olympic and playoff hockey. It's just the atmosphere just seems awesome, and those games would be so awesome to be at.
agreed. Yeah, no, I would have loved like to be able to go to Italy to watch that game today would have been the best. So yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that statement.
There you go. Yeah, I couldn't name besides very popular players. Mark could not name one person who plays soccer. So I will not be joining you. Well, I might join you if the invitation is out there, but I don't. I've never been to a soccer game. Never. I've honestly have never watched a professional soccer game. I've not stepped foot inside a soccer stadium unless they play where maybe a football
Well
team
played.
plays. But so yeah, besides the most popular names in the sport, couldn't name anybody.
Well, hey, maybe we can go catch a friendly before the World Cup because the World Cup is here. So maybe we can do that and show you how crazy soccer fans get. They like to light shit on fire and start fights, kind of like a Raiders game, if you will.
Yeah, but do they end up in prison like Raiders fans? That's the question.
I think the
That
Raiders
is
won.
that is a question. All right, Mark. Anything else on your watching, not watching docket as we roll on here?
That'll do it for me.
All right. Well, is that part of the podcast where we transition to our entertainment side of things, where we get the wheel review up and running here, as well as discuss, recap, review what we watched last week. And again, we'll spin the wheel review to see what our watching assignments is for next week. Mark got tasked with American Dad. I don't remember how many he was assigned or anything like that, as it was a couple. I don't remember yesterday, Mark, so forgive me of what you had to watch. I did do seasons 3 and 4 of Ballers to kind of get this keep rolling, since we didn't miss last week as well. And so I got that ready to go. Up to you, Mark. You want to go first? You want me to go first? Whatever.
Yeah, I'll go first. I think mine will probably be a little bit quicker. I think, if I remember correctly, I think I was tasked with just the pilot of American Dad, and I'm gonna be 1,000% honest with you. I watched like 20 episodes, so like once I flipped it on, it became something that I just started. Well, I enjoy Seth MacFarlane. I enjoy that comedy, and I couldn't even tell you what the pilot was about now that I'm sitting here thinking about it, because I think I'm on season 3. But yeah, it's a great show. I love how in every Seth MacFarlane bit, there's always a character or a couple of characters that are extremely political, one side or the other. I love those political jokes that he makes on both sides of the aisle. I love the harsh comedy. You got to make fun of everybody, right? Everybody's become too sensitive. So watching the older episodes of American Dad was kind of a breath of fresh air. And like I said, great comedy. Roger the alien is hilarious. But and I've noticed it's like Family Guy, right? But it's the same characters, different names, because you got Roger and Stewie, who are damn near identical in their type of zingers, and the back and forth that they do with the father and things like that. And then you got the dads. Obviously, the American Dad doesn't drink like Peter, but the back and forth on the silly crap he does on the family, and then the kids doing their thing. So I think that's kind of funny, the similarities in between both. But yeah, one of my favorite shows growing up watching with alongside Family Guy. So glad to watch it.
Obviously the same creators and stuff like that, Seth MacFarlane and things like that. I've only seen a couple episodes just here and there, never, just I don't want to say never got into it, but just haven't really sat down to watch it. So
yeah, if you watch Family Guy enough, you got American Dad, so there you go.
yeah. All right. So I did seasons 3 and 4 of one of our favorite HBO original series, Ballers, starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. As I mentioned a couple weeks ago when we kicked this thing off, Mark, probably my favorite thing that The Rock has been in ever. I know he's done a crap ton of stuff now, but so season 3 came out in 2017. This finds Spencer Strasmore, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, stepping fully into the high-stakes world of sports ownership and financial plays. This is where he leaves ASN, which is Anderson Sports Management. He partners with Joe Crutel, funny guy, to pursue bigger ventures. This is where they attempt to try to move. This is crazy how this kind of played out. And then again, I don't know behind the scenes of it, Mark, but this is when they're trying to move an NFL team to Vegas, and they were talking to the Raiders about moving to Vegas, and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson just goes off on Tim Brown. But it's pretty funny. This season explores the politics of league ownership, relocation battles, and the blurred line between ambition and integrity. Spencer aims to elevate himself into ownership circles. He's consistently reminded of the past player and the compromises required to survive in the billionaires' rooms, meaning, we've heard this before. It's the rich white man's club when it comes to NFL owners. Not so much anymore, but that's the kind of room that he's trying to battle with. Ricky, our favorite boy Ricky, faces reality of aging in the league. We kind of touched on this. trying to find a spot, signing these 1-year deals like we see a lot of players do in the actual National Football League do. So it touches on that as well. Charles, again, retired after winning a Stanley Cup with Miami, got back into the league and stuff like that. And then he finds himself with his front office role, assistant GM with the Dolphins, kind of being the face of the franchise because the actual GM doesn't want to make these decisions or go in front of the media or anything like that. And then Vernon he's trying to navigate his whether he wants to continue playing football. Does he want to go into like professional gaming? He's getting into trouble after a weed company sponsors him, so that's pretty funny. But season 3 leans heavier in the corporate maneuvering, portraying the NFL as a cutthroat business. So that's where season 3 lies. Season 4 came out in 2018. Season 4 shifts from the ownership dreams to reform redemption. Spencer once again becomes outspoken about player safety and the NFL's handling of concussion. So maybe before it's time, or again, maybe they knew some behind the scenes things that we didn't really know yet. And his crusade about player safety stains the relationships with owners and former allies, which places his career and ASM's and his kind of what do they call it? They just got like league approval to kind of represent players and stuff like that. This season focuses more on accountability and legacy. Spencer must decide whether he wants to win with the system or challenging it. Meanwhile, Joe pursues financial independence. Ricky again prepares for his life after football, and Charles grows into his executive identity. I felt like season 4, it's more reflective than explosive. We didn't see like the major, major reveals or major affairs or major fights, if you will, or kind of major character battles. And then, Spencer evolves from an ambitious power broker to questioning the system that actually made him. So, yeah, I think there's 5 seasons, so I got one more season to go, which we'll hopefully recap next week. But yeah, it is cool how they were like talking about relocation, and it happened to be the Raiders trying to get them to Vegas, and then they had to go, into this room. They had to fight for a new stadium. They had to buy land. They got this big, this guy who owns a bunch of casinos in Vegas to partner with him to buy land. And then name the stadium after him as well. And then they kind of switched up and took a different tactic. No, let's keep the Raiders in Oakland, but just give them a new stadium. And then obviously in real life, we know what happened. But yeah, it's kind of cool how. And then and then you go into player safety, which probably became a big focal point around this time as well, about concussions and stuff like that. So it's cool to see. Again, we touched on it when we first we're talking about Ballers, Mark. It's so cool how close it is to the actual NFL, but there is a lot of stuff that we don't get to see, obviously, in real life. But the show kind of, I think I mentioned, I was kind of surprised that the show was able to touch on a lot of these stories.
Yeah. I like you said, definitely hands down one of my favorite things The Rock has done as well. And yeah, like I love. It kind of fills in the blank for us, whether or not it's 100% accurate or not, gives us a really good idea. The behind the scenes when it comes to contracts, negotiations, players trying to fit in remain relevant in the league. The ownership kind of conversations that take place in the dirty pool that, takes place. And I'm sure it's much worse in real life just because I know how human beings are. But yeah, I think hands down one of the best series ever. Because it gets to touch in, like it makes you, after you're done watching that show, it's like, man, I want to be an agent, or I want to handle funds for these guys, because it makes it like that would be exciting every day going to work and being able to handle those kinds of struggles and controversies and problems. For a great deal of, the NFL, or, players and things like that. And like I said, I think my favorite part about that show is it helps you kind of fill in the blanks on those behind the scenes things.
Yeah, super cool. Again, definitely recommend it. Have one more season to recap for you guys, and then I'll be able to spin the wheel. I'll be able to be, excuse me, part of the team that gets to spin the wheel. Speaking of which, Mark, are you ready to spin the wheel?
Let's rock and roll.
Are you sure about this?
You know, I got lucky the last few times, so I guess I'm good to go back to the horror side of the genre.
You could get horror. You could definitely get horror if it all plays out. I don't think this is the right screen. There we go. All right. Let me know when you're ready.
Go ahead, hit it. Okay.
All right. Another TV show.
Maybe it's my turn for TV shows.
What's that?
So maybe it's my turn for a string of TV shows.
Well, let's see. So we'll go into TV genre: drama, cartoon, comedy, superhero, or miniseries. Hey, 2 for 2, back-to-back weeks. If it lands on American Dad, though, we're respinning because that's cheating.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm already on season 3, so.
Yeah. All right, here we go.
South Park.
There you go. Everyone's favorite, South Park.
Here's my thing. I don't dislike the show, but I can only take it in small doses. So
well,
if let's
hope you don't land on co-host choice of how much you have to watch.
That's what I was just gonna say.
Let's see.
Uh-oh.
Oh, that's funny. Oh, that's
Looks like
funny.
I'm watching South Park till next week.
How many seasons are there? 25? How many seasons are there for real though?
Let me see.
Because there is a crap ton of seasons for South Park.
Looking it up now.
Yeah, there is
28.
23? Is that what I just saw?
I got 28 on my side.
Oh yeah, that makes more sense. Now I'll only let you watch 27 seasons.
What a kind guy.
Oh man, I don't even remember the pilot. That was so long ago. It was like what, 1996 or yeah. Crazy. Yeah. That was a crazy time when we all went through that. You know what though? Let's do the first 5 episodes.
Okay. I can do that.
Yeah, let's do that. I was going to say the first 28 seasons, but
you know what's crazy is like how you are with American Dad, and I've same with me in South Park. I've seen a couple episodes, and usually after an episode and a half, just sitting around watching TV, I'm like, yep, that's enough for South Park.
Yeah, I mean, I used to like it, used to watch it religiously, and then it's been a couple years since I've watched an episode. Obviously, if there's like an explosive / controversial episode, maybe I'll like YouTube it or see what they talked about. But besides that, yeah, I haven't really I've never said, oh, I'm so excited for the new season of South Park to come out. It's been a while since I said that.
Yeah. Well, I've never said it, so it'll be interesting. Honestly, though, I'm kind of excited because, like, I get to go back and kind of maybe with a different viewpoint on it, and maybe I might like it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, does it hold up now? Is it still funny like it was? And then also when it, obviously when it comes out in 1997, what are they talking about then?
Right.
Um, as opposed to now, obviously a super controversial show. They get into the politics of it, to the social construct of societies and stuff like that. Obviously, um, one of the other reasons why Canada hates the U.S. So that's yeah, well, it is funny to see like if and how it holds up still.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's gonna be my favorite part of this assignment. Just like you said, what were they talking about in '97? What were the offensive things in '97? Because being offended in '97 and being offended in 2026, way different.
I don't even think that was a word in the dictionary yet in 1997.
I agree.
Yeah, offended and sensitive were not in our vocabulary in 1997.
We were built different back then, man.
I know. That's crazy. That is. Yeah, so I'll be interested to see. Be interested to see what you report on next week and what they talked about, because yeah, that was a whole different time.
Yeah, we're gonna have to put on the next week's segment, viewer discretion advised, because hey, with South Park, anything goes, especially in the
Especially if
'90s.
you're quoting an episode.
Right.
Yeah, we gotta put the parental advisory sticker on next week. So we shall see. But yeah, we are up against it now. Want to thank you for joining us on this episode of On the Mark when on the mic here on the Recliner Media Network. As we roll on through these it feels like the dog days of February. It's just, again, like I said, crap and snot infested February. Glad this is the last week of it. Again, when spring training is starting, Mark, you know that spring and summer are close. So there's
Love it.
always
I,
that.
I love this time of year. This excitement of jumping into spring and summer. That's probably one of my favorites.
Is it crazy that the last week of February here in Denver is 60s and 70s?
Same here in my area, where usually it's super cold. So, I mean, granted, yeah, I'm in Arizona. We don't get Denver, Colorado cold, but it gets pretty cold here. And yeah, 70s is what we got on our forecast as well.
I don't want to jinx it, knocking on wood, but I think it's literally only snowed like 3 times this entire winter.
Nice.
And then the next day it's 60 and it all melts anyway.
So you had an Arizona winter. 'Cause
Yes,
that's
and
about
I
how
will
many
I
times we
will
got
I will
snow.
take that every year.
I don't blame you. Not
I
one
hate
bit.
I absolutely hate snow. So
And see,
won't
and I
miss
only
it.
love snow.
Well,
I
I
only love
welcome
snow
global
for
I
Christmas time.
welcome global warming.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, for me, if I don't have a Christmas tree up, it doesn't need to be snowing. That's how I feel.
Yeah, yeah. Was not a white Christmas. Don't care if it was a white Christmas. So there you go. Once again, go to all of our socials: Facebook, X, YouTube, Instagram, wherever you find podcasts as well, on the old Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, everywhere. And then go to our home base again, reclinermedia.com, to find everything on demand, as well as Pro Wrestling Daily, Between the Lines, and we'll get a lot more articles put up for you guys as well. But that is it for us here on this edition. For Mark Saxton, I am Michael Spillman. We will talk to you next week.